morning. So in the last class, we have discussed about the sinking fund method of depreciation. Sinking fund method of depreciation. So that is how to calculate the depreciation amount, and also we know how to calculate the book value. How to calculate the book value. So now we take one example. And then we solve this problem. Right. Consider the, say for example, the initial cost of a particular machine is say rupees 1 lakh. Salvage value is given as, say for example, rupees 20,000, and also he is given as the service life as 8 years. And here for this kind of sinking fund method of depreciation, we need to give the annual rate of interest, that is I is equal to 12% compounded annually. The interest rate of means compounded annually, 12% rate compounded annually. Okay, so this by using the sinking fund method of depreciation, we need to calculate the depreciation schedule. So calculate the depreciation schedule. Calculate the depreciation schedule using sinking fund method of depreciation. So this is the data. So based on this given data, we are going to calculate the depreciation amount. And so how to calculate this depreciation amount? So in the last class, we have discussed the equation. So now the first annual depreciation, that is equivalent annual depreciation, is to be calculated, which is throughout the service years. It will be same. So the annual equivalent depreciation amount. So annual equivalent depreciation amount means it's a fixed depreciation amount which has to be taken care for at the end of every year while calculating the book value. So annual equivalent depreciation is what we have discussed in the last class, that is A, which is given as P minus F into the factor, that is A by F. We are finding the A for the given F value, that is I comma N. So what is this value which I'm going to get? That is okay. Yeah. So this depreciation, we need to find out the factor for the value of I is given as 12% and we have given as 8 years. So here the A is calculated as the first cost. P is the first cost, that is 1 lakh, minus F is the salvage value, that is 20,000. Okay, then into this factor for A by F. So from using the compound interest tables, so use compound interest table, use compound interest table to get this factor value. That is from the table, if I choose the table, so I got 0.0813. So I got the factor as 0.0813. Now the value is here. If I get the multiplication and then 6504. So this is the fixed amount of depreciation. So this is the, we can call it as fixed amount of depreciation. So this one is fixed amount of depreciation. So this 6504 every year will be taken. In addition to this, at the end of every year, it will be having the interest will be earned. Interest will be earned. So the depreciated amount is 6504. This amount will earn. This amount will earn interest. This amount will earn interest for the, say for example, this is for the first year. So at the end of second year, what is the interest earned on this? And then we are going to calculate the second year depreciation. So likewise, we need to calculate the net depreciation. So the depreciation amount will earn the interest for the remaining period of the life of the asset. Will earn interest for the remaining period of service life. Means, say for example, 8 years, this will be carried for 8 years. Remaining life of asset. So at interest rate of course, at interest rate of I, that is here in this given as 12% compounded annually. So now, so once you calculate the annual equivalent depreciation, where it is a fixed depreciation for the end of every year. Now say for example, we'll calculate what is the depreciation. What is the depreciation at the end of year one? What is the depreciation at the end of year one? Say for example, depreciation at the end of year one. At the end of year one. So here that is nothing but D1. That is nothing but D1, which you are going to calculate rupees 6504 only, because this is the at the end of first year. This is one. But when you come to the second year calculation, that is depreciation at the end of year two, how we are going to calculate? I'm just explaining here. So depreciation. So we are going to calculate the depreciation at the end of second year, at the end of year 2. So D2 is nothing but there will be a fixed depreciation, that is 6504 plus the amount earned, that is 6504 into with a 12% rate of interest, that is 6504 into 0.12. So this will become 6504 plus this value. If we calculate this 0.12, 6504 into 0.12, 6504 into 0.12 will give 780.48. So together I'll be getting around rupees 7284.48. So this is the depreciation at the end of second year. Similarly, at the end of first year, at the end of third year, depreciation at the end of third year, So net depreciation we are going to calculate. Net depreciation, that is, which is the constant D3 is equal to, which is the constant depreciation, which is for every year it will come, that is 6504 plus, now together, because the depreciation for this amount and as well as for this amount, So this is the depreciation at the end of second year. We got the amount. So this will be interest is going to end at a 12% compounded interval. 12% compounded interval. So for that, what we are going to do is 6,504 plus 6,000. These two amounts, which one? The depreciation amount is going to earn the interest of 12%, and the depreciation 2, that is 7,000. So for these two amounts, plus I'm taking this one, that is 7284.48. So for this into 0.12 into 0.12. So this is we need to calculate. In this way, we need to calculate. Say for example, I'm going to 0.12. So totally, so this plus this into 0.12, and this one I'm going to add, say for example 6,504. So add these two, that is 650 6504 plus 7284.48 into 0.12. So I'm going to get 1654.62. So together I'll be getting around rupees 8,158.62. So if you look at here, this amount, what are the amounts which are calculated? This is the depreciation amount for the first year, depreciation amount for the second year, and this is the depreciation amount for the third year, that is this one. Now, while calculating the depreciation at the end of fourth year, see here, depreciation at the end of year 4, that is D4. Now see here, there is a constant fixed depreciation, that is 6504 every year, and the remaining whatever the depreciation earned, that is D1 plus D2 plus D3 before this fourth year. For that, this is the interest which you are going to calculate as 0.12. So likewise, so D4 is 6504 plus the amounts. One is 6504, one is 6504, the other one is 7284.48 plus then this one 8158.62, and what this is the interest earned. This component is interest earned on the depreciation. For the every year. So this is the interest earned for at the end of third year. So for the 2 years, whatever the depreciation amount calculated, for that what is the interest earned is going to be 1,654. Likewise for these 3 years, how much is going to be the interest earned? So for this, we can calculate, that is 6504 plus 7284.48 plus 8158.62 in multiplied by 0.12. So that is, we are going to get 6504 plus 2,633.65. So together I'll be getting 6504 plus 2633.65, which is 9137 rupees, 9137.65 rupees. So this is the amount at the end of depreciation. At the end of, so the interest which you are going to earn for the previous depreciation will be added to this depreciation. Added to this depreciation, fixed depreciation. That is totally I'm going to get at the end of fourth year. Likewise, we need to calculate for all the years. For all the years. So for the depreciation, so I have given some illustration how you can calculate this. So for that we have a tabular column, that is end of year and say fixed depreciation, that is we calculate by using the annuity, by using the annuity interest factor, that is fixed depreciation. So here we are taken as this as A, okay. And net depreciation, that is which I have given example, that is net depreciation is calculated by using the what is the interest earned for the previous years, that also will be added to the fixed depreciation. So that is D. This is the net depreciation is the DT, and the book value. Of course, book value can be calculated as we have the equation bt is equal to bt minus 1 minus dt. So it is this equation. So now we calculate for all the years. Right now, at the end of 0 year, there is a 6,504 fixed depreciation, means annual depreciation, but this will not be taken into calculation, but it will not be taken into calculation. So book value will be 1 lakh only because the initial. Then when it comes to the end of the first year, we have the 6504, and then net depreciation will be same, that is 6504 only. And if you take this into book value, 1 lakh minus 6504, 1 lakh minus 6504, we are going to get 93,496. Similarly, at the end of second year, we have calculated there is a fixed depreciation of 6504, and net depreciation, if you look at above, the calculation is 7284. 7284 is the second one, that is 7284.48. Then 93 minus 7084.48. We need to subtract that. That will be getting 86,211.52 is the book value. Next, at the end of third year, 6504. Then we have got 8158. Depreciation is got 8158.62. Then we got 8158.62. We need to subtract from this 86. This one 8158.62. Then we will get 78,052 rupees 90 paisa. So then up to this, and the fourth also we have shown, that is 9137. So 6504 is the next net depreciation, and we calculate this how much, 9137.65. 9137.65. So 9137.65. Then 78 minus 9137.65 is, we are going to get 68,915.25. So at the end of fifth year, similarly, at the end of fifth year, we need to calculate 6504. Then, so here up to, that is D5 is equal to 6504 plus, then D1 plus D2 plus D3 plus D4 into 0.12. So by using this equation, I'm going to get around 10,234.17. So which will give you, by subtraction of 68 minus 10, I'll be getting 58,681.08. So now for the 6 and 7 and 8, 6 and 7 and 8, so 6, 7, 8. So D6 is equal to 6504 plus D1 plus D2 plus D3 plus D4 plus D5 into 0.12. So that is 6504 plus D1 is we have taken as 6504 only, then 7284.48 plus 8158.62 plus 9137.65 plus 10,234.17 into 0.12. So likewise, we need to cumulatively add all these and multiply with the 0.12. Then you'll get the depreciation at this end of 6 years. That is 6504. Then I'm going to get here this amount is 11,462.27. Okay. Then the book value at this year is going to be 47,218.81. So likewise, we can calculate. Similarly, for the 7th year, so D7, what equation can be written as 6504 plus D1 plus D2 plus D3 plus D4 plus D5 plus D6 into 0.12. So it means that up to this, now you have to add all these things into 0.12 will give the depreciation at the end of 7th year. So what is the constant depreciation we have? 6504. Then sum all this in multiply with the 0.12, you will be getting around 12,837.74. So it will give 34,381.07. Now coming to the 8th, D8 is once again D6, D7, D8. So similar fashion we need to calculate, that is D8 is equal to 6504 plus summation of I is equal to 127 DI into 0.12. Okay, so by using this we can find, means I is equal to 127 means D1 plus D2 plus D3 plus D4 plus D5 plus D6 and plus D7 means up to this point we need to add all this and then multiply the 0.12 and then add to the 6504, so which will give you 14,378.27. So by subtracting this, I'll be getting around roughly the salvage value 20,002 rupees 0.80. Okay. So if you look at all the problems at the end of service life, we are getting the amount as this one. So this is the nothing but what? Salvage value. So approximately you are getting equivalent to the salvage value. It means at the end of the useful life of 8 years, the equipment will be cost. The equipment cost will be, the book value is nothing but the actual cost of the equipment at that particular period. So at the end of 8th year, this book value of the asset will become 20,000 approximately. So this is how we are going to calculate the depreciation at the end of every year in the case of sinking fund method of depreciation. So in this case, first we need to calculate the annual equivalent depreciation, annual depreciation or fixed depreciation, that is using the A is equal to P minus F into A by F, comma I, comma N. So using this, we are going to calculate the annual fixed depreciation, that is 6504. Then after that, we need to calculate because this depreciation is going to earn the interest on the interest of I, at the interest of I. So that has to be multiplied with this amount, depreciation amount, and calculate the interest, and that will be added to the fixed depreciation. That will be added to the fixed depreciation. Likewise, we are going to calculate at the end of every year depreciation. Then book value is going to be, we have the equation, that is book value is equal to BT minus 1 minus DT means B1 is B0 minus D1. Likewise, we need to calculate for all the years, for all the service life of the asset. So now we move to the one more method of depreciation. Right. So now we'll move to the one more method of depreciation, which is called as service output method of depreciation. Service output method of depreciation. So these are the 5 methods we are going to use service output method of depreciation. So straight line method of depreciation, declining balance method of depreciation, sum of years digits method of depreciation, sinking fund method of depreciation, and finally service output method of depreciation as per your syllabus. So this is the last method of depreciation. So in whatever we discussed till now, the depreciation calculation may not be relevant for the some of the situations. So in that situation, some situation where the real computation of depreciation will be depends on the time period, because compute the depreciation based on the time period. So the depreciation is some of the calculation, the computations of depreciation computations on depreciation is depends on service rendered, that is on time, means service rendered by an asset. So in this, say for example, we'll discuss in detail here. P, say for example, you take the initial cost or first cost of an asset, initial cost or first cost of an asset. Then F is the salvage value. F is salvage value which you have taken. Then we have taken the one more component as the maximum capacity. Very important here. The maximum capacity. The maximum capacity yeah, the maximum capacity of service of the asset, capacity of the service of the asset during its lifetime. So during its lifetime, this is the maximum capacity it can produce. So similarly, small x we are going to take here, that is the quantity of service, that is nothing but quantity of service rendered in a particular period. So with this data, see here, if you look at this data, that is, one is the maximum capacity of the service of the asset, and second one is the quantity of services rendered in a particular period. So these two parameters is very important in the case of service output method. Means the depreciation is based on time period. The depreciation is based on the here service rendered or time period. So that is why in this situation we need to know what is the maximum capacity of the service of the asset and the quantity of the service which is rendered. In these cases, so how to calculate the depreciation of the service? So depreciation of service or depreciation per unit of service, I can say per unit of service. Depreciation per unit of service, I can say, because we need to calculate, because this is the quantity of service rendered we are looking at, and the maximum is x. So this is nothing but the loss of the value of an asset on the maximum capacity of the asset. This is the maximum capacity of the asset. So we can take P minus F by X is the depreciation per unit of service. Suppose if because it is given a service for X units, that is quantity of service is X units, then in that case, that is depreciation for X units of service in a period, for X units of, because we have serviced for X units of service in a period. is equal to P minus F by capital X into the X value, So this will give you the depreciation amount which you are calculated for X units of service, So this is the equation for X units of service. We can calculate for the unit of service, we can take the P minus F by X. So here we take a small example on this. Say for example, the first cost of, say, a laying machine. So in this, the first cost machine of which is we use it for making roads, that is 80 lakhs, and the salvage value is given. Salvage value of this after 5 years, means the service life is going to be 5 years. So salvage value after 5 years is rupees 50,000. Now it can lay the maximum capacity, or we can say the length of road that can be laid by the machine, during its lifetime. Means how much length it can lay the road, how much length it is going to lay the road. That is nothing but it can give a maximum service capacity of 75,000 kilometers. That machine can give a maximum life of 75,000 kilometers. Now in its third year operation, third year operation, means X units, yes, X is the small x here, third year of operation, the length of the road laid is, say, 2000 kilometers. It is laid in the third year of operation. Now find the depreciation of the equipment for that year. So you are going to calculate for third year because it's asking for third year. So find the depreciation of the equipment for that year, means it is for third year. It is asking for this year. Because in the third year it is laid at 2000 kilometers. So it's asking for 30 year, means for 30 year here is talking about the third year of operation. Means for the service life, maximum service life is 5 years. Okay, so now based on the data given, that is 80 lakhs, the initial cost is 80 lakhs rupees, the given data. Then the salvage value is given as rupees 50,000 at the end of 5 years, and the maximum capacity the machine can lay the road for 75,000 kilometers, and service rendered for the year is around only 2,000 kilometers in a third year. Okay, so if I want to calculate depreciation for 2000 kilometers of service in a third year. So that is, for that we have the equation P minus F by capital X into small x. So by using this, so I can write the depreciation for year 3. Depreciation for year 3 is equal to 80 lakhs minus salvage value is 50,000 divided by maximum capacity of 75,000 kilometers into 2,000 kilometers. So By simplifying this, I'm going to get rupees 2,12,000 rupees. So this is the depreciation year amount for the year 3. So this is how we are going to calculate the depreciation for the different methods which we have discussed. So there are 5 methods of depreciation we have discussed till now. One is straight line method of depreciation, declining balancing method depreciation, sum of years digits method of depreciation, sinking fund method of depreciation, and finally service output method of depreciation. So these 5 depreciation methods are there to calculate the overhead charges. So today I'll stop here and we'll discuss tomorrow.